Once upon a time, in a small African village, there lived Adisia and Morayo, a couple who had been married for years. They loved each other deeply, but their home was quiet. No laughter of children filled the air. Though they tried everything they could to get a child, but they had none. Feeling hopeless and heartbroken, they decided to seek help from the ancient deity Ori, the guardian of destiny, known to bring blessings to those who worshipped with sincerity. They built an altar in their home, offering kola nuts, fruits, and prayers every morning and night. They never stopped hoping, even when months turned into years without an answer. They kept praying fervently. One night, as Morayo slept, she had a dream. In the dream, she stood in the forest, which was both calm and comforting, and in the center was a figure wrapped in golden light. There was Ori. Ori spoke with a voice like thunder and waves. "Your prayers has touched me. Your sincerity and tears have touched my heart. I will give you a child, but she will need guidance. Protect her heart, for she would face many trials, but will come out victorious if she doesn't depart from the ways she had been taught." Months later, Morayo became pregnant, and in 9 months, she gave birth to a beautiful, bouncing baby girl. She was the most beautiful child the village had ever seen, with skin like polished ebony and eyes that sparkled. They named her Ire, meaning blessing. Alongside this gift came another, a sleek black cat, which was given to her by Ori to guide her, its eyes glowing with wisdom. The villagers talked about the cat, calling it a spirit guardian sent by Ori to guide Ire. She was loved by the entire village. From the moment Ire could walk, the cat never left her side. It watched her every move, always alert and protective. The cat wasn't just an ordinary animal. It had an uncanny way of sensing danger. When Ire was 7, she almost wandered too close to the river bank. The cat hissed and clawed at her dress until she ran back to safety. When she was 10, a strange man passing through the village offered her sweets, but the cat growled and stood between them, attempting to attack until the man backed away. Ire's parents taught her to trust the cat fully because it was a gift for her protection and guidance, and for many years she did. Its guidance kept her safe. Some years after, she grew into a bright, kind, beautiful young woman. When she left for the university in the city, her parents was worried, but they knew the cat followed her, a silent protector in a dangerous world, much more bigger than their small village. At first, life in the city was overwhelming. People were louder, faster, and more unpredictable, but the cat helped her navigate it. First day of school, she was amazed to see a lot of people, both boys and girls, moving for their clearance. Lots of students admired her because she was so beautiful, and everyone wanted to be her friend. And the boys wanted her to be their girlfriend. She was overwhelmed and excited. Her cat would sit somewhere in the school observing and hissing at those who seemed untrustworthy. Slowly, Ire built a small circle of friends who supported and loved her regardless. They did assignments together, went to school together, and even shared the same hostel. Things were going smoothly, and when their first year results came out, Ire did so well. Everything slowly began to change in her second year when she met Raymond. Raymond was like anyone she had ever met. He was handsome, confident, with sharp features, and a charm that left everyone in awe. He owned beautiful cars in campus and had an amazing dress sense, wore designers, and smelled really good. Raymond came from a very wealthy family, and he lived life without rules. He was the kind of man who would make you feel special just by looking at you. Ire was enchanted. She did all she could to get his attention. She would purposely walk past him, dropping down her book. At last, she caught his attention at the game field. When she walked to him, "Hi stranger, can you please help me hold my bag? I want to get my face towel from the hostel." He smiled and held her bag. Excited, she ran to the hostel, knowing she had made him notice her. At the end of the match, they got talking, and in no time, they became good friends. They would chat all night, and she blushing to his text messages. He would come every day to pick her up from the hostel to school. The first day her cat met Raymond, it was the first time Ire saw its flaw bristle and its eye narrow. That night, the cat climbed onto her bed and meowed loudly, its voice filled with urgency. It pawed at her, trying to pull her attention away from the thought of Raymond. "What is wrong with you?" Ire yelled. Frustrated, she pushed the cat away, but it kept meowing. Finally, Ire shouted, "Stop it! I am not a child anymore. You don't get to tell me who to see or who not to see, what to do and what not to do. Please leave me alone." The cat looked at her, its eyes filled with lots of pain and warning. But Ire had had enough. In her anger, she tore up the sacred bead that has always been around her waist, the bond between her and the cat. "Leave me alone," she yelled. "Go away." The moment the bead snapped, the cat let out a long, mournful cry. It looked at her one last time before disappearing into the air. Ire felt a pang of guilt, but she brushed it aside. "I don't need the cat. I can take care of myself. Besides, I have been single because of this cat. It doesn't let me do anything for myself. Please, it should just go." She was so excited she can finally be with Raymond without any cat disturbing her. At first, life with Raymond was thrilling. He would take her to clubs and introduced her to expensive restaurants, private party, and wildlife. He gave her gifts and made her feel like she was at the center of the universe. Some girls in the hostel even wished to be her. But slowly, the cracks began to show. He would pressure her to drink alcohol, smoke, and do hard drugs, things she wouldn't have done before. He introduced her to his friends who laughed at her values and encouraged her to ignore her studies and live her life. One of his friends, Zephan, even told her, "Ire, drink and enjoy life. Living is one, so enjoy it." And in no time, Ire's grade in school began to drop. She stopped calling her parents and stopped visiting home. One day, her parents got really worried and came to her school to visit her. But she denied them in front of the whole school, ashamed of how they look. "Who are these people? Please stay off me. Do I know you? I'm not even your daughter. To think of it, how can you afford an expensive girl like me?" Her parents were shocked and they cried and cried, but she didn't listen to them. She abandoned them there and left with Raymond in his car. Who are those? I am too beautiful and too clean to be their daughter. They must have mistaken. "Don't mind those fools," Raymond said, blasting loud music in his car. "Let's go drunk, baby girl." Gradually, she stopped coming to school anymore and went fully astray with Raymond. She fully started drinking and doing her drugs. All they knew how to do was party after party. Months later, people in the neighborhood no longer saw Ire. Ire had disappeared with Raymond. Everyone got worried because she stopped going to school. She stopped coming out of her room. Her parents waited for her to return, hoping she would come back to them. They cried every night, but no news came from anyone. One night, her parents prayed to Ori for answers. The once lively Morayo had become fragile, and Adisha's strong voice now trembled with sorrow. The village elders noticed their pain and they often visited to console them, but nothing could ease their heartbreak. One dark night, Morayo had a dream. In it, she was in the same forest where she had once met Ori. This time, the air was heavy with sadness. The deity's voice echoed through the forest, filled with both anger and pity. "Your daughter turned away from the guidance I gave her. She ignored my warnings and even broke her bond with the protector I sent, and chose a path filled with darkness. Her choices have led her to ruin." Morayo quickly fell to her knees, tears rolling down her face. "Please, Ori, tell me what happened to her. Let us see her one last time." Ori's voice softened. Her life was taken by greed and evil. She trusted someone who meant her harm. But even in death, her spirit wanders, lost and in pain. I will allow you seek her, but only with a pure heart. When Morayo woke up, she told her husband about her dream and together they decided to go to the shrine of Ori. They lit candle and prayed fervently, asking for guidance. That night, as they slept, the cat reappeared in their home. Its eyes glowed brighter than ever, and its fur shimmered like the stars. The cat led them into the forest where the air grew colder. It had returned from the spirit world. At last, they came to a clearing where a faint figure stood. It was Ire, but her body was pale and her eyes full of sorrow and regret. "Mother, father," she cried, her voice trembling, "I am terribly sorry for all I did. I was wrong. I didn't listen. I turned my back on everything you taught me, and now I am lost. Raymond killed me, used part of my body for rituals, and buried the other one where no one can find it. Please forgive me, mother. Please forgive me, father." Morayo and Adisa ran to her. When they tried to touch her, their hands passed through her like a mist. "My child," her father said, his voice shaking, "we forgive you. Please come back to us." "I can't," Ire said, tears running down her face. "Raymond used my body for a ritual. My body is gone. I can never return." The cat looked softly, walking to Ire's spirit. It cycled her, its eyes filled with compassion. Slowly, its body began to glow. A warm light surrounded Ire. Ori's voice echoed through the clearing. "Ire's mistakes were great, but your love and forgiveness is greater. Her spirit may not return to the land of the living, but she will find peace in the land of the dead. I would guide her to the land of the ancestors." As the light grew brighter, Ire's figure began to fade. "Thank you," she said, "for loving me even when I failed. I would always carry your love with me." The light vanished and the forest fell silent again. Morayo and Adisha stood there holding each other and weeping as they woke up. From that day on, the couples found solace in knowing that Ire's spirit was at peace. They returned to the village and dedicated their lives to teaching young people about the importance of listening to guidance and staying true to their values. They tried everything within their power to get Raymond arrested, but they couldn't. He was from a wealthy family. Till date, Raymond walked freely in the world as if nothing happened. Her story reminded everyone that while life is full of choices, the wisdom of those who loves and guide us is a gift that should never be ignored. And though Ire was gone, her parents found peace in knowing that she had finally found her way back to Ori's light. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next story.